Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. This is my $1,500 Ducati 900 Supersport, and this is my new garage. Yes, that is right, I bought a house and it has a shop, which is pretty cool. So hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more regular videos of better quality and more projects like this bike, which has turned into a bit of a project. As you can see, I didn't actually intend on this video having the bike in this state, but because of the new garage, I didn't realize that my audio echoed so much when I recorded this video a couple days ago. So here I am redoing it and hopefully getting it edited and out tonight. Anyway, like I said, this is my 900cc 97 Ducati, my Italian stallion, and it does have a bit of a sprain in its ankle. There's a few issues, and I'll go over them now. Now, I don't think that this was a bad deal by any means. I think for $1,500, any bike is going to need a little bit of work. My friend Eric has often been quoted as saying that any good running bike is going to cost you $2,000, whether the initial purchase price is $100, $1,000, or $2,000. You're going to hit that $2,000 mark by the time you have something that you're comfortable taking out of state. And I have noticed that to be true, whether it's my $500 Honda CX500 that I had or this. It does seem like that $2,000 mark is about where you end up landing at. But anyways, let's go through what we've got here. Now I'm going to start out with a bit of a visual issue, and that would be these fairings. Now, something interesting about these fairings specifically is a friend of mine was able to find the owner of this bike before the car wizard who I bought it from, and he told me quite a bit about it, including the fact that these actually are not original fairings. Who is calling me? Hello. Turns out these fairings are not original to this bike. It actually started out as a Ducati 900 SS CR, which stands for Cafe Racer, and doesn't include this big aero piece on it. It also explains why the suspension on this doesn't quite seem right for the model. Either way, these fiberglass fairings have definitely seen some wear and tear. There's a bit of a crack. Let's see if I can show that a bit better. Got a bit of a cracking going on there. Looks like there's some filler that's kind of missing. It's pretty much the same story here on the other side. Just a little bit of wear, a little bit of tear. Might learn how to fiberglass so that I can fix that up and truly have a good condition bike. Now, one of the other issues, and one that I've actually fixed already, was these hand controls. The turn signal and horn button were missing. I found this unit used on the internet and installed it. And that'll be in the next video, even though I've already done it, because guess what? Continuity is a bit. After my last video, a lot of you contacted me on and off YouTube telling me to reach down into the left side fairing and turn a knob to reduce the veracity of the steering dampener, and all of you were correct. Here it is. Heavy, light. It was of course turned all the way up and made the bike almost unrideable. I've turned it down now and it is much, much better. So I guess this is less of everything wrong with and more, hey look, I fixed this. While we're over here, one weird side effect of the fairings being aftermarket is these absolutely ridiculous mounting solution. This piece of threaded pipe acts as a standoff from the motorcycle, and none of this is appropriate or original hardware, so I might try to fabricate or buy or find something a little bit more appropriate to hold those fairings on. This actually wasn't wrong with the bike when I got it, but it's wrong with it now. The starter button is a bit messed up. The pivot has broken, and so now it just kind of floats around here. I've already ordered new right-hand controls, and I'll get those in and get those put on. It should all be fine. If you're perceptive, you've probably noticed that there's no battery in here, and there's a very good reason for that, and I will go grab it. This chrome battery, sealed lead acid battery, isn't really appropriate for this bike. That should take up that whole width there. I shouldn't be able to stick my hand there. And the reason that I even thought to check this is because the bike didn't really start all that well after sitting in the cold for a day. So turns out this battery is junk. It'll hold a charge, it tests okay, but as soon as you try to pull on it, it drops to like 7 volts when you try to crank. And that just doesn't work. So new battery's on the way. We'll get that fixed right up. Here on the back is something interesting, or rather the lack of something. This aftermarket Forza exhaust is a high-rise model, which means it sits about 3 inches higher than the factory. And that means that there's no room here for the passenger pegs. Apparently, the car wizard that I bought this from has the some sort of aftermarket or modified or adapted from another bike passenger pegs. I'll have to get those from him and put them on here because I would like to take my wife on rides on this bike since it does have 2 seats. Now this is something interesting, not necessarily broken, but a weird thing I noticed. This left side foot control is spaced out using some bolts and washers, or sorry, nuts and washers. I'm not really sure what's up with this. I might try taking all this out and just putting it back to stock, not only for appearance purposes, but just to see if maybe the linkage gets a little bit smoother or something like that when I do that. One thing that has been done to this bike, you can see here, these are the 2 wires coming from the stator. This is just a single phase stator. Most bikes have a 2-phase stator that has 3 yellow wires coming from it. But right here, there's usually a plastic connector that likes to melt. One thing I might do is just replace this entire run of wires with a bit of a thicker gauge. These are kind of a little bit thin for the application, and that seems to be a running theme with these Ducatis, is using inappropriate wire sizes. I remember the same thing with my Jag. I think it's just a Euro car thing. My Jaguar XJS that I had, the wires running to the window motors had actually melted due to being an incredibly inappropriate size for the amount of current that they were expected to carry. Now, this rear fender hasn't exactly led the nicest life. It looks like it's been sitting just a bit too close to that tire and it's been catching every now and then. It's not really great. The problem is I loosened the bolts and it doesn't really seem to move much, so I'm very curious what's going on there, if this is maybe the wrong size tire or if there's some holes I need to wallow out so that I can space that out just a little bit more, because that makes me very, very uncomfortable. And then of course this isn't really something broken, but it is something wrong. Really dirty. This bike doesn't look like it's been washed in, well, quite an age, so I would definitely like to go through and degrease and clean, but it's 28 degrees in this shop right now, so I can't exactly bust out the hose, so that'll have to wait for another time, unfortunately. And that should just about cover it. That is my 1997 Ducati 900 Supersport. I have been riding this around, well, I did ride it around for the 2 days after I got it when it was actually nice out. It's now below freezing and there's snow on the ground outside, so 2-wheeled fun times will have to wait. But I have been riding it. It is a ton of fun. A lot of people have been telling me that this is far too much bike, likely to get away from me. I mean, I don't see it. I wouldn't exactly call it tame, but this bike is exactly what I expected, a torquey V-twin 900 sport bike. Handles great. I just couldn't be more pleased. The brakes on this thing are amazing. I mean, it just rides so well. I am absolutely thrilled with this, and I can't wait to get all the little things here and there fixed up, make it a really nice example of what it is, which is a cantankerous, slightly temperamental, 25-year-old Italian sport bike. And, and I love that. It says made in Italy right here, and I'm so thrilled to finally have something Italian. I was in the Hoovy's garage hand on the Maserati, and I didn't get the Italian Maserati. I was this close to buying my friend Brady's Fiat 500 Abarth, but I ended up passing on that, and now John Ross of Watch JR Go has that car. So after completely missing out on 2 Italian cars, I finally have this Italian bike, and I am absolutely thrilled, and I just love looking at it. My wife hates the yellow. I love the yellow. The yellow is so good. Apparently, only 100 yellow Supersports were made for the US market, but there is a big asterisk there because US market does not include California. The Californian market got an additional 150. So in the US, at most, there are 250 yellow Supersport Ducatis. And I think that's pretty special. I mean, for $1,500, getting that kind of rarity and the prestige of an Italian brand, and you can tell that I'm a bit of a badge jerk like that. I love the lofty brands and such. It's just, I mean, look, it's so much for the money. It's shocking. And these things go on Bring a Trailer for, you know, $5,000, $6,000. And I'm not even going to begin to claim that mine is nice enough for that, but I mean, look at it. It's yellow. So head on over to 100%jake.com/store if you like a t-shirt. I designed them myself. I'm fairly proud of the designs. I'm not very familiar with Illustrator, but I have enjoyed the learning experience. And you can get this or the Ducati shirt, and I'll make sure to bookmark any funds for those particular projects. So thank you again for watching. Subscribe if you like this and want to see more. Leave a like, and any interaction helps boost my metrics, which is very helpful for motivation to continue working on this channel, honestly. Because YouTube's monetization sure isn't much motivation lately. Bye. Hey guys, it's Jake from 6 Hours Later here with worse lighting and worse audio, here to tell you about the things that don't need fixing. These are things that I know people are going to talk about in the comments that have been addressed by the previous owner. Timing belt, valve adjustment, oil change, and the oil is still clean. Air filter. Hey guys, Jake here from about 6 hours later with worse audio and video Hey guys, Jake here from about 6 hours later with worse lighting and worse audio. There are a few things that the previous owner took care of the car. This is just a note here just to address some comments I know I'm going to get. The timing belt and valve adjustment were done by the previous owner less than 1,000 miles ago. So those are all good to go. It's not something I'm going to have to worry about, which is great because those jobs are pretty involved. This bike should be pretty much good to go mechanically. The oil is pretty fresh. The oil pickup screen has been checked and is good, so there's no like metal shavings in there or anything. This bike should be good to go. And speaking of the bike, and speaking of shirts, which we weren't actually talking about at all, this is a design that I just made that will be available soon in my store, 100%jake.com/store.